like
Bro,
4 episodes.
I was gonna wear the jacket.
Really?
I was gonna wear the jacket, the gray one. He's only giving me a gray one, bro. I'm waiting for other colors.
Hold
bro.
on, look in the camera.
Yo,
and say
it's
that.
one of the most comfortable jackets I've ever put on. I need more colors, Kale. More colors.
So yeah, everyone, be sure to check out Seams Apparel. Check out their website, their Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, they've got a lot of athleisure.
Yeah.
They've got hoodies, shirts, shorts.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable.
I agree. I think it's some of the most comfortable clothing I've put on for sure.
Another Corpus native, Kale M Shop, doing something great right there with the clothing line. Be sure and support. Use the code STXBSB10 for 10% off.
I have
And
to write that down.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, be sure to support. We appreciate you guys watching, and let us know who you want us to have on next. We'll try to make it happen. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the South Texas High School Baseball Podcast. This is a very secret, kept under wraps episode, kind of formulated very last minute. But this is one that we've all been waiting for. A local legend is back home, the one and only Jose Trevino. So, dude, welcome home.
Thank you for having me.
And
Appreciate it.
I guess technically we're not really home. I don't know how much home Bishop, Texas is.
Almost close to home.
Okay,
I have a lot of homes, man. I love this. I love South Texas. So
Okay, all right, sweet.
I'm considering this home too.
For those who are not watching, we are on the field at Bishop High School. Thank you to Kenny Signs and Mike Medina for letting us jump out here so short
Appreciate
notice.
you guys. Beautiful
Yeah.
field too. Beautiful setup if you haven't been out here.
Yeah,
It's
you
it's
guys
awesome.
need to come catch a game. Not only a beautiful field, but a pretty solid program.
Yeah.
Bishop year in,
Really
year
good.
out. Dude, it's not January.
November.
November 21st. You're down here because you have a golf tournament tomorrow.
Yeah. I got a golf outing for JP2, St. John Paul II.
St. John
High
Paul
School.
II.
Yeah, we're just trying to grow the school again. Trying to revamp it, and I'm trying to help out as much as I can. You know, I lived there. I practically grew up in that place. I was a young boy, became a young man in that place. So trying to help out as much as I can. We have a golf tournament tomorrow. I plan on breaking the course record, so we'll see.
All right, at Lozano.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but try my best.
We'll have some videos for y'all. So yeah, check back on that.
Yeah.
But all right, dude. Let's jump into it. First thing, what is this Winter World Series you got, and what makes it a World Series?
This is gonna be. So the thing that makes it the Winter World Series, a World Series, is the competition.
Okay.
Like, I've talked to teams. My son plays baseball around tournaments. I've been to a couple tournaments already, and they're like, "Hey, do you know the teams that you have in your tournament?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You know that these are some of like the better teams in like the state." And I'm like, "I understand that. This is why it's the World Series." You know, and that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be the best competition because I believe the best competition is either in South Texas or in Texas overall.
Yeah.
So I want it to be fun and great, and as it always is, it's awesome. But I want it to be very competitive, and I want the kids to have fun, but competitive. I want this to be like, all right, we're getting after this, and this means something, you know. So that's the reason why we pick some of the teams, and I mean, when you have a wait list larger than the list of teams that are in the tournament, that obviously tells you something about what we've done. And we've gotten asked plenty of times, like, hey, we want to do this with it. And we say no. People ask us like, hey, we want to provide this. We say no, because it's Laren, 24 Sports, myself, our families. We put a lot of work into this. Laren crushes it.
Yep.
But I mean, we're hitting off the Lexington. We got a celebrity softball game. There might be some special guests.
Okay.
Special guests.
How special?
Yeah, pretty special. They heard about it. I mean, they saw last year what the community did last year when they came out, and they were like, dude, this is actually bigger than we thought. Let's see what we can do. So we're going to see if we have some special guests in South Texas around that time.
Okay. What are we, as of today, about 3 weeks out exactly?
Yeah, 3 weeks out.
Okay.
Yeah, what's today? Thursday?
Yeah,
Thursday night. We're hitting on the Lexington.
All right. Thursday night or Thursday afternoon?
Thursday afternoon, sorry, in the morning.
And then Thursday night, something
Celebrity
else.
softball game.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Any other, and you got softball this year?
Oh, yeah. We had softball last year, too. Softball last year was crazy, by the way, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, those girls made me fall in love with softball.
Yeah.
Like, the way they played, how much fun they had. They were dancing, but once they got in the box, it was like all game. They were like,
Yeah.
we're ready to go.
Locked in.
And I enjoyed it. We did something called the Sandlot Sisters.
Yeah.
So basically we had, apparently it was too expensive to get in this tournament, which we're like, not typically, you're not getting everything that you're getting from our tournament from other tournaments. Like our tournament is different, and we're not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that. The experience, the competition aspect, trading pins, trophies, rings, whatever it is, like giveaways, our tournament's different. So if there's an asking price, like it is what it is, but the experience is going to be great. And I mean, last year we had girls register as like individuals because coaches were saying it was too expensive. So we're like, all right, well then we'll just register all y'all and we'll put all y'all on a team.
Yeah.
And then we'll have someone coach y'all. And actually one of the Sandlot Sisters teams, I can't remember if they won or if they were in the championship and they lost. But I mean, Laren tells me all the time, he's like, dude, we get people talking about that softball tournament forever. So my niece plays softball. She's local. She's in Bishop. So she's probably going to be a Lady Badger. She's going to have my support.
All right.
So I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why I was like, I need to bring softball. I need to get it more involved. I think the girls are tremendous. I think obviously softball is an amazing sport. So I'm like, yeah, we need to move forward with it. So this year it's a little bit bigger.
Okay, I was going to ask.
And I think it's going to be extra competitive because there's some teams that we got that are pretty good.
Now, as far as the teams that are competing on both the baseball and the softball side, you said you want it to be the best competition possible. Mm-hmm. Are there any teams not from Texas that are coming?
No.
So it's all Texas?
No, there's 60% of our list of our teams registered, 60% are from out of town.
Okay.
Up north.
Okay.
They're
so
coming down
North
south.
Texas.
Yeah, North Texas.
Okay.
But for the past 2 years, so we had one in San Antonio and then we had the one in Corpus.
Mm-hmm.
Corpus teams have just rolled through these teams.
Dude, the one in San Antonio 2 years ago that I was at, Corpus swept 6 of 7 divisions.
6 of 7 or 8 of 9 or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was like one division that they didn't win.
Crushed it, right?
Yeah.
So we got some teams from North Texas that are going to be pretty good. So
all right.
I mean, I love it. I want these teams to come down to Corpus, and I want them to see the talent that's down here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is I want them to see how beautiful our city is. Why not come down here and play baseball tournaments? You're going to Florida to play.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to the beach in Florida after you play? Not really. You're not going to go to the beach here. You're just going to see the water, go play some baseball. We have good food,
Pretty equivalent weather to Florida.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to compare it to Florida, but like our city's beautiful, man. Like,
yeah.
And I think, like I said earlier, the competition, the kids that, want to play, it's down here.
Not only that, but the city of Corpus Christi and the city of Portland and the entire coastal bend is worthy and capable of hosting events
100%.
that are
100%.
just as comparable. Yeah,
we
exactly. We showed
it
last year.
We showed it with the Winter World Series or the homecoming last year.
Yep.
And this year we're going to show it even more. We have more teams this year.
Yeah.
So, and I know the city loves it from a economical standpoint.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think teams, like a lot of teams that came from Dallas were like, man, we didn't know how beautiful the city was, and we didn't know like how good the competition was. And I was like, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Welcome.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't realize just how solid the competition and development is down here.
Yeah.
We're baseball and softball through and through.
Yep.
And
you play year round down here.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to look at other sports and try to make an argument otherwise.
I know people try to push football, and I get it. You should. Football's great. Like I played high school football and I loved it, but there's just something about a bat and a ball on a good warm night in South Texas, and you're going at it for the city that you live in, the city that you represent, the city that you grew up in, the city that you watched guys before you. You were like, I want to be that guy, and I think there's something about that.
Speaking of, imagine that scenario. You've got a bat and a ball. You're on this field.
Yeah.
I know we were raving a little bit about how nice this field is, but Bishop, you guys got it pretty good,
Yeah,
man.
It's a nice field. Y'all lucky. Y'all
definitely
lucky.
Field is very well kept.
Yeah.
So
I mean, especially around this time, like you said, in November, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, you guys got a good thing going. Keep it up. But okay, so we got your Winter World Series. Talked about it. Got that out of the way.
Yeah.
You just got back from the World Series. The World Series. Say it again.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Oh man. Obviously not the outcome that we wanted. But man, like a dream come true, dude. Like there's nothing. There's only one thing I ever wanted more than to win that World Series or equal to, and that was our second championship at John Paul. Like I wanted it just as much as I wanted that World Series. Like heartbreaking, bro. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like you go all that way and you lose with a good group of guys, and it was a good team, Dodgers team. Obviously, they're out here, talking about it now. But I just think that we had such a good team, good group of guys. We just came up short, but the experience itself was something I'll never forget in my life. I took myself back to when I was 5 years old at my house with my dad, with my mom, picturing myself in the World Series, and I was there, dude. And it was amazing. It was everything I ever dreamed of, except we didn't win. We weren't holding the trophy.
Yeah.
I remember the first day we had pictures, and the trophy was literally, right there. And they were like, "Do you want to hold it?" And I'm like, "Not yet."
Yeah.
Not yet. And it was an awesome experience. The times that I got to play were awesome. It was everything I dreamed of, everything every kid dreams of, everything that kid that puts himself in that scenario of like, oh, I'm in the World Series. Like I felt like that. I felt like a kid, and I felt like I was just out there living my dream. Not like my dream, but like I was living a dream for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that, from South Texas that never got the chance to play in the World Series or play in the playoffs or play in the big leagues. And I've always said I wear that, more than anything. Like I want to take pride and play for those guys, whether they're my teammates or people I are playing against. I was hoping that they were all cheering for me and, proud of me, because whether or not I played with them or played against them, they had an impact on my career.
Did you find it hard at all to be present or live in the moment and kind of realize where you're at and what's happening,
dude?
Throughout all the entirety of it?
For sure. I think the only reason why I wasn't so like eye-opening or like, was I nervous? Yes, but once the game started, I was like, oh, this is great. The All-Star game.
Yeah,
it felt like the All-Star game. That's what I would say. It felt like the All-Star game because the All-Star game was in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I just and anytime you play Dodgers Yankees, it's always a big game.
Yeah.
And like I remember when I played, I was like, oh, we're good. Like this is, obviously you get a little butterflies, but it turns into a regular game. There's a little bit more paint on the side, people waving flags, a lot more cheering, a lot more going on. The stakes are higher, but like in the end, it was a game, and it was, it meant a lot. We wanted to win, we just didn't.
Yeah. You talk a lot about that moment and wanting to play in the World Series. Mm-hmm. What's going through your mind when you get that pinch hit in game 2?
I will say this. I was asking for it. I was like, I need to put me like, if there's a lefty coming in, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Like I was telling the hitting coach, I don't know the messaging, or I don't want to give too much away, but I don't know if that got sent up to, a guy that makes decisions, but I was like, I'm ready. Like I'm ready to go. I was swinging in the 4th inning, ready to go, kind of getting loose and staying ready. And I felt prepared. I felt ready. I have no regrets.
Yeah. Like
I went up there and I did everything I possibly could to give our team a chance to win. I wanted that pitch. That was the pitch I wanted. Yeah. It cut a little bit more than I thought. And I just missed it. Like I'll tell everybody that till the day I die, I just missed it, and that's
you
baseball.
Barreled it up.
That's baseball. It's a game of inches. It's a game of, execution. And I just missed it. Like I've got nothing else to say about it. Like I just missed it. I got close. I just missed it.
I think everyone would agree because that ball, it was a deep ball.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people agree that's the pitch you want to hit.
Yeah. I remember walking up to the plate. I just felt a sense of calmness and like joy and thankful for the opportunity just to compete, mm-hmm. and just to be in that moment. And I remember when I hit that ball, I've never heard a stadium get so quiet in my life. Like I felt like the air just went like sucked out of the stadium. And then obviously when they saw it wasn't going out, you know,
Came back.
yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it was a moment like I've been waiting for my whole life. Some people will say I failed. Some people will say, I gave it my best shot. And then you just learn from it and you go from there. Put a good swing on a good pitch, and that's all you can do. After it hits your bat and you make contact, like it's not up to us anymore.
Yeah.
So,
dude.
Yeah, but it was exciting, and I mean, I'll still think about it to this day. Like I randomly, I'll be walking with my kids or walking around my house, and I'll just be like, damn, I just missed it. I just missed it. And like, just missed it. I don't know. Like that could be a quote on a shirt or something, but I just missed it almost.
Yeah.
The whole experience was crazy, man. It was awesome. I'm hoping it happens again, and you just never know this baseball season. You never know with baseball, and you try to grasp every opportunity that you get in this game. And that was one of the moments where I can say like I was fully in every single moment and I enjoyed every single moment of it. Obviously the last moments weren't too enjoyable for me and my teammates, but there's zero regrets on my end. And I loved every moment of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know everyone back here is cheering you guys on.
Dude, I feel like I felt it. I feel like I felt the love from South Texas whenever, whether it's when I got my start or whatever it was, like I felt like I had a lot of people behind me, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. And there's an equal amount of love for both you and Anthony
Yeah,
Bondo.
man. I mean, he's the winner. He's the champ.
Yeah.
He did. I mean, he had an unreal year, which was
He
great.
did.
It was
Amazing year.
Great for him, man. I'm super pumped. We talked. I waited a couple of days, shoot him a message just to congratulate him. But I mean, well deserved, bro. He played a big part in that season over there.
Yeah, he did. He really did. Okay, so in all of that, let's go back to 3 years ago, right when you get traded to New York from Texas. So that offseason was when you and I had connected for the first time. And it's 3 days before the season? And where are you when news breaks that you get traded? How do you find out? What is your first reaction?
I'm in Arizona. I know something's going down. My agent's telling me, hey, something's going down. Here's your 24-hour notice. Pack your bags.
Okay.
You're going somewhere.
Is that a common thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have a good agent.
Okay.
He's a good agent. But he's like, hey, like something's obviously going down. You have some options left. You have some upside. They want some prospects. You're big league ready. You're ready to catch, whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and I mean, I just automatically thought of the Yankees, and I was like, man, that would be so sick to play for the New York Yankees. Like, I would absolutely love it. And I remember the day before I took a foul ball off my finger, my middle finger. And I was dipping in iodine, I think it was, in the training room. And the catching coach comes and gets me. And he's like, hey, everything you've done, I'm proud of you. Gives me a good, nice little pep talk. And I really enjoyed it. Like, that's one of the guys I look up to. His name's Bobby Wilson. Probably one of the best catching guys ever. And they take me in the office, and they're like, I mean, it's GM, manager, everybody's in there. And they're kind of looking at me, and I'm just like, all right, well, like, here we go.
Yeah.
And they're like, we want to thank you. I'll never forget that conversation, and I'll always hold it close to me, and I'll never tell anybody what was said in that conversation because it was so meaningful and impactful to my career at that moment. And it meant the world to me. And those guys know that. And it was a great conversation for about an hour and a half.
Wow.
And they still didn't tell me where I was going. So it was just a conversation between a lot of people. And at the end of it, they're like, hey, we're going to trade you to you're going to be a New York Yankee. And usually people like cry, like, I don't want to leave this team. Dude, I was like, nothing against my teammates in Texas. I love all of them, but like, dude, I was about to play for the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
And fast forward to 4 weeks ago in the World Series, like they acquired me to be where that
to get there,
to get in that moment, and we're there.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought about that. I was like, I'm here for a reason, and this is it. So I get traded, pack my bag. My bags were already packed, so I just throw them in the car. They take me in an Uber. Actually, no, I'm flying out the next morning. Yeah, flying out the next day. I fly out the next day because there was no flights later that night. So I fly out the next day. I get into Tampa about like maybe 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't remember. Late, really late. And I know the next day we have 2 more games, then the season starts. And I get there early. Spring training, I get there early. I'm always there early. And I take my bags in, and I'm walking, looking around, trying to find where everybody's at. And I'm like, where's everybody at? Like, nobody's here. It's like 6 o'clock. I got a couple hours of sleep. I had to shave my face. I was excited. I couldn't sleep. I was just like, I need to get there. And I get there, and the first guy I see is Carlos Mendoza. He's the manager of the Mets now. And he goes, "What's up, Carlos Mendoza?" And I'm like, "Jose Trevino." He goes, "You're the reason why we're going to be so good this year." And dude, I mean, you top the conversation with the GM, the manager, assistant GM, all those guys in Texas. And then you have this guy that I just barely met tell me that I'm going to be an important role in this thing. You get that. And that's just like, I'm like, dude, I'm a good player. Like, I believe it. I've always believed it, but like them telling me that, I'm like, oh man, let's go. I'm ready. And then from there, like I played that day, was very dehydrated. I was only supposed to catch 5 innings. And, after the 5th, they started bringing in the bullpen guys that were going to be in the big league team.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Booney coming up to me, and he's like, "Hey, you good to catch a 6?" Dude, I was dead. I probably had maybe 2 bottles of water before that day. I was so dehydrated. I was hot. It was so hot too. It was very hot. And my face was all red because I had just shaved it for the first time in like forever. And dude, I remember it was just really hot. And then the 7th would come around. They're like, "Hey, you good to go?" And I'm like, "Yep." And they're like, 8th would come around. I'm like, "Yep." 9th would come around. Chapman was coming in. I was like, "All right, cool. Close the game out. We won." I get done, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dead. I'm so dead. I was sweating. Dude, I remember going to use the restroom to pee, and it was like, I was like, yeah, I need some water ASAP.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, I was just trying to show them that I could play, and I didn't need to prove it to them, but I wanted to, and I was like, like I can handle this staff, and I was like, let's roll. And then from there, I mean, the rest is history.
So
That's what they would say.
So then after that conversation with Texas, when you find out you're going to New York, who do you call first? Marky? Your mom?
Marky.
What's that conversation like?
Nothing, just like, we're going to New York. I'm going to be a Yankee. She was happy. She was proud.
Does she like New York?
She loves New York.
I can imagine.
Everybody loves New York. And then I called Coach Castillo.
Okay.
And I told him I'm going to be a New York Yankee. And he's like, go live your dream.
That's awesome.
And that was like the thing. He was just like, go do your thing, man. Like, this is everything you've ever wanted. Like, you're going to be a New York Yankee. And it was like, yeah, you're right.
Man. Okay, so at that point, you go to Tampa, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You play those games. How quick of a turnaround from that last game in Tampa are you in New York? And at that point, like, where are you staying? Are you just put up in a hotel for the time being?
Yeah, put up in a hotel for a couple days. And then my wife was going around looking for apartments. We basically played that day. Next day was our last game. Got done. After that game, we flew out to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Got to New York. I was up in a hotel. We were up in a hotel. And then we had 2 days before opening day. And usually what they do, they schedule opening day and then they schedule an off day because just in case weather. And that day, it happened to be bad weather. And so they canceled the game. We were playing the next day. So 3 days before. Okay. And I mean, I was trying to learn the staff and all that. So yeah.
A little bit of extra time.
Yeah, which was get a little extra time, which is good, you know, and we're opening up with the Red Sox, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a quick turnaround, turnaround. I was almost learning on the go as I was playing the season too. So
what What was your primary mode of transportation when you first got to New York? Are you taking Ubers everywhere? Or are you trying to figure out the subway?
I did the subway and I got lost.
Dude, the first time I went to New York, I got frustrated. I was like mad. I was like, I don't get it.
I got lost the first couple of days. There's a whole story behind it, but they were asking me, like, when you sit in the subway, like, do you sit like this? Do you sit like, how do you sit? And I'm like, I sit like I own that mother. And I was, and they started laughing. They loved it. They were like, oh, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, I sit like I own that thing. And so they love that. They love that.
Have you ever been recognized on a subway?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know after that first season, I asked you, because you were living in White Plains.
Yeah, I was living up in North New York. Yeah.
And I asked you, I said, do you take the subway to get around? And you said, yeah, it's easy. You just put a hoodie on and a hat and you put a mask on, because at the time COVID is still relatively relevant. So you're like, it's easy. You just look down and no one bothers you.
Yeah, but you got to keep your headphones on so that no one talks to you. But don't turn them up too loud, because if something's going down to your left, like someone's dancing, you don't want to be freaked out by it. So you got to keep them low enough to where like you can still hear.
What's the craziest thing you've seen on a subway?
On a subway?
Yeah.
Bro. I mean, people are always, well, you know what, bro, people have talents. I'll tell you this. They fall asleep on the subway. Stop 1, stop 2, bro, their stop comes up and
They're
out.
Back.
Bro, they just get up and they go. And I'm like, how do they know that? Like, how do they, that's crazy. I've seen 20 people do it. They'll just be there and they'll stop. And then as soon as they're like, oh, we're stopping, boom, up, walk out. And I'm like, damn. Takes talent.
Crazy.
That's talent.
Imagine growing up there.
Bro, I think my son would love to live in New York.
Really?
Josiah. Oh my God. That dude thinks he's home alone over there.
How much of a culture shock was it when you're trying to adapt?
Bro, I grew up in Bolt, Texas.
Like nothing around, it's flat everywhere.
Bro, I was like, buildings are pretty big. Like I've never seen anything that big before. But it was a little bit. But dude, they welcomed me with open arms and I loved it. And everything was so cool. Like the whole experience, just got hot at the right time. And they were like, let's get this dude to the All-Star game. And that campaign was so cool, bro. They were just backing me with everything. Which was really cool.
Yeah, you have a career year.
Mm-hmm.
You make the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
When you get called in to be told you're an All-Star,
mm-hmm.
what's going through your head?
Just couldn't believe it, bro. I'm an All-Star for the New York Yankees. Like, and it's something that I always wanted to do. Like,
and
every level,
you'll always be able to say.
I'll always be able to say that. You can't take that away from me. Like, good luck. You can't.
Yeah.
And I always said that when I start pro ball, I want to be an All-Star at every level. And I can't say that because I didn't do it in AAA. Yeah. Because I was only there for a little bit. But I did it twice in AA. So it's fine. I did it in AAA too. But
we'll count it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've always wanted to do.
Over the 3 seasons that you've spent in New York,
mm-hmm.
what's probably been one of your favorite memories, whether it be on the field or off the field? I guess just in your time in New York in general.
My favorite memories, man.
Because I know you kind of low key got married at the courthouse.
Yeah, we did. That was fun. That was great.
Was that kind of planned or kind of?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we were like, yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's go. We're gonna do this, and so we did it there in New York. Yeah, that's up there for sure. I think off the field, that's up there. On the field, dude, seeing Anthony Rizzo play this playoffs was crazy. I don't want to give too much away because I'm going to let him kind of say it. But, like, bro, seeing that man, like, strap up to play a baseball game was crazy. Don't know how he did it. For real. Like, people need to know. That dude is a beast. Beast, bro. Like, don't know how he did it, but he did it. And he did well. Yeah. Like, he did great. I mean, dude, there's been so many moments on the field with teammates and just good dudes playing baseball. And, like, we were very close this year. Like, we were very tight-knit group. Like, people were like, oh, Yankees are close. Like, no, bro, you don't even know. Like, we would have team dinners, everybody would show up. Yeah. And if you didn't show up, everybody would be like, yo, where were you? Like, what do you mean? Said team dinner. and then they come back and they show up the next time. But like, dude, we were really tight. That's a team that I'll never forget, bro. Like I'll never forget. Never forget. So much fun. And we played we played good baseball and just good group of dudes. There's a lot of memories from this year that were really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Okay, now we can kind of jump back into prior years before
Mhm.
New York,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll talk about your upbringing and your South Texas roots. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
tell us where you're from. You mentioned this
I'm
little Ben Bolt
I'm
place.
I'm from Ben Bolt, Texas. Population of 500, maybe a little bit more. I grew up on a county road. Mom was a cafeteria manager. Dad worked on the base.
On the base in Kingsville or in Corpus?
In Corpus.
Okay.
And I had 3 older siblings. They all went to Ben Bolt High School. But I went to school in Corpus. I went to school where my mom worked at Ella Barnes Elementary. Go Sunnies. And I went to school there, and I would drive from Ben Bolt to Corpus with my parents. My dad had to be at the base at, I want to say 5. So took us 45 minutes to an hour. So we'd leave pretty early in the morning, and we'd take all the county roads. I mean, from Driscoll, sometimes Aladusa, sometimes, Bonquete, Robstown. We take all those county roads to get to Corpus. So, like, when we talk about, like, home and all that stuff, like, dude, I feel like all these places are home to me just because I've spent so much time,
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's in a car or, like, friends around the area, like, whatever it is, like, yeah, like, I feel like this whole place is home to me, and I feel nothing but love from here. So, grew up, parents were awesome. Now that I'm a parent, I realize the sacrifice that my parents made for me was like, I could have went to school in Bimble. I could have done all that. Nothing against anybody that did or did that. But like, they wanted something different for me.
Mm-hmm.
And they made sacrifices, whether it was financially or, driving my ass from Bimble to Corpus, and they made those sacrifices for me, and I'm very thankful for it. Now that I'm a parent, like, I wish I would have known sooner.
Yeah.
The sacrifices that they made, and I went to Ella Barnes Elementary, went to Haas Middle School, go Warriors. And then after my 8th grade football or basketball season at Haas, I went to Bishop Gadiga, which is next to John Paul, and I started playing baseball as an 8th grader. JV.
So you started
JV.
Was that
not
the
varsity.
first? Was that the first time you played baseball? Like ever?
No.
Okay, so you played growing up.
Yeah, I played growing up.
Okay,
I played at Southside, Westside, Oso, all over. Like we talk about, like, dude, I just feel like a blanket. Like, yeah, that's my home. South Texas is my home.
All right, you said it. You said it like that was the first time you ever played. Just had to clarify.
Yeah, no. I grew up, T-ball, Southside, and then from there, we started playing select ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we were one of the first teams. I'll say we were because that's the first time I heard of it. And I'll be like, yeah, my dad took us. He was like one of the first teams. But started playing travel ball. And at a really young age, I just had this dream of like being a professional baseball player. I've only had one person laugh at me. His name is Mr. Cole. I won't tell you where he teaches because I don't know if he's still alive or not. But Mr. Cole, he knows who he is. He was like, better get good at playing that instrument because you're not going to amount to nothing. I was like, we'll see. We'll see. And so grew up playing baseball throughout my whole years. Didn't really play any other sports. That sounds bad now because everybody plays different sports, but I believe you should play different sports at some point.
Yeah, you're a big leaguer.
But I grew up just playing baseball, man. I didn't play football until I got to middle school. But I mean, I'd go to football practice and then have a baseball game right after.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the league that we would play in. It was a league in the fall that they would, basically like a little fall league.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it. It's going to kill me. Somebody in the comments just throw it in there. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
What year is this?
2000 and I was in high school. So 2008, 9,
Okay.
I'd go to football practice, and then go play in that fall league. But so baseball was year round for me. Obviously I'd take breaks during, holidays and stuff like that. But for the most part, like we were playing baseball. We were at tournaments. We were driving to San Antonio, doing all that. So yeah, man, I just, my parents, the ultimate sacrifice, dude. There's nothing in the world that I can give to them that will ever make up for it. Not even me winning a World Series, I don't think would,
Yeah.
just the sacrifices that they made, just very thankful. And I go to high school, John Paul II, from 08 to 11. Yeah, man, there was a day that changed my life forever. It was the day that Eli Manning threw that ball and they caught the pass behind the head. I couldn't even tell you, but that was the day that changed my life forever. I was supposed to go to a quinceañera, and my mom came up to me and she's like, "You're not going. You're going to go stay at coach's house." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm 14, maybe. I'm in high school already. I think I'm in high school already. Either 8th grade or high school." And she's like, "Yeah, you're not going. You're going to go stay at coach's house this weekend." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm going to this quinceañera." And she's like, "No, you're going to coach's house." I was like, "Man, like, typical teenage kid, didn't know that my life was about to change." And I go to his house, and I remember just being very, very bored, like not doing anything, sitting there. And his son David was there. He's like, "Hey, come in, watch some film with me, some hitting." And I remember it was the I think it was 05, 07 All-Star game, and we were watching all these hitters hit. And he's like, "Yeah, this, we're going over film, right?" And I'm just sitting there like, "Oh yeah, it's cool." Like, "Oh, Albert Pujols, cool." Like, "Yeah, he's hitting a home run." Not just didn't know, bro. And he's like, I remember him like playing with a mouse like this, right? And he's looking at film, and I'm sitting right here, and he stops, and he's like, "Bro, my dad sees something in you that he's never seen in anybody else." And like, he's looking at me dead in the eyes, and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about, dude." And then it like hit me, and he was like, "Dude, my dad thinks, you're going to be his big leaguer, like, but you got to take it serious." And at that time, like, there's a knock on the door. It's coach. He walks in. He's like, "Hey, it's getting late." It's like 8:15. I'm like, "God dang." He's like, "I need your phone." I'm like, "What? Like, you taking my phone too?" So he took my phone. I was in bed by 9 o'clock. I was asleep by 9 o'clock. But before I went to bed, he was like, "Hey, man, like, you're here for a reason. And I'm going to tell you this because, like, I think, you have some talent." He had a whole conversation with me, and he's like, "If you're up for it, we're waking up in the morning. There's an alarm clock next to your bed. When it goes off, you can be up and you can come with us, and that'll tell me that you're serious about this. If not, stay asleep. No hard feelings." And I'm like, "All right, whatever. Like, okay, coach, I got you." I go lay down in the room, dude, and I'm like, I can't sleep. I have a sore throat. Like, I feel a little sick, right? And I'm looking up at the ceiling, and then it starts hitting me. He's like, "Oh, dude, like, you got to get serious about this. You're like 14 years old. Like, you got to get serious about this quick. Like, do you really want to do this?" And I remember looking up, and I'm like, man, I am serious about it. I want to do this. I've always wanted to do this. Like, and this guy can help me. I know he can help me. He knows a lot of people. He's an amazing coach, amazing knowledge of the game. Like, this dude can help me. And I remember like kind of falling asleep for a little bit. And then I started coughing, like coughing. Like, that cough that just doesn't go away in the middle of the night.
Yep.
I get another knock on my door. It's his wife, Sulema. She hands me a mug, like a coffee mug. I still, in this day, haven't asked her what was in it, but like, it made me feel so much better. And I fell asleep. When I woke up, I remember looking at the clock. It was a little box clock, bro, like this with red numbers on it. And alarm hadn't gone off, and I was up like wide awake. And I got up and I put my shoes on, put my clothes on, and I remember sitting on the edge of the bed like this and just being like, why would I wake up early? Someone's telling me something, or like, something's going on here. So I'm up, dude. I have my shoes on and knock at the door. You ready? And I say, yes, sir. And we took off running to John Paul. He lives by Southside. It's not that far now, but as a kid, I was like, dude, this is the furthest run of all time.
Yeah.
Dude, we get outside on the sidewalk, and he goes, don't let me beat you. And he takes off running. And I'm like, oh. So I'm there running after him.
And this is David,
This
right?
dude runs. No, this is Coach.
Oh, this is Coach?
Coach. And his son was already up ahead. His son had been running, I felt like, for hours. But he's like, don't let me beat you. And he takes off running. And I'm like, oh, my God, dude. And Coach Castillo, like, I don't know if many people know this, but, dude, that dude would run every day. Every day. And I don't know how far he would run, but he would pray a rosary. And he would run. And he wouldn't stop until he finished the rosary. I don't know how many rosaries, but I know he would at least get one. But that dude would be dripping sweat when he was done running. And it was, dude, I felt like he ran for days. For real. And, I mean, we ran. I beat him to the field. We got to the field, did a workout, threw BP to us. We're hitting balls in the field. And he was like, all right, you're pretty serious about this. All right, we'll see what you got. And, I mean, I remember I stayed Friday. Saturday that ended up happening. Sunday was the day that ended up happening because the next day was a Super Bowl or Super Bowl Sunday or whatever it was. But Saturday was when that happened. Friday I stayed at his house. We didn't really do much. Just kind of talked and just kind of hung out.
Uh-huh.
But Saturday night, that's when he was like, hey, if you're serious about this, like, it's here for you. And I was like, all right. And it was the day my life changed forever, dude. That was the day I was like, I'm going to be a big leaguer. Like, I'm going to be a big leaguer.
So then from there, you have 4 years of high school ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
You are a two-time state champion.
I had a goal every year. Me and Coach Castillo had a goal every year. He's like, I want you to have the most RBIs of any high school player. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know what that number is, Coach. And he's like, just get 50 RBIs for 4 years. And I'm like, okay. And that's kind of how it was. Like, it was like, go out there and get 50 RBIs. Like, that was your goal. And I was like, okay. No home runs, no nothing. And then the ultimate goal was play in the last game and win it. That was it. And go get 50 RBIs. And I don't know how many RBIs I have.
I was going to say.
A lot. It's pretty good.
You got 2 state titles.
Me and my friends have 2 state titles.
You and your friends have 2 state titles. Now, you mentioned earlier you wanted to win the World Series as bad as you wanted that second state title.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the 2 state titles.
The first one we kind of went in and just did our thing.
Okay.
Played a good team, but
junior year, right?
This was my junior year, yeah.
Okay.
Because the first 2 years we had to get like basically into taps.
Okay.
And people would always give us crap like, oh, your taps. But in the long run, we'd go play Cal Allen. Cal Allen would beat us, and when we'd beat them.
Yep.
You know, like we'd play good games. We'd play Moody, they'd beat us, we'd beat them. You know, like we weren't pushovers. Like we played good baseball. And anybody can say that. They can say anybody can say what they want about us being in taps or whatever. Okay, whatever. Like, who knows what would have happened if we were in regular 4A, 5A, whatever it was. You know, I don't know what would have happened. So you can assume I got 2 rings, whatever, you know. But we would play those teams, and you know, the first one we went in, I mean, we played a good baseball game, ended up winning, like by 2, maybe like 4 runs, 5 runs, something like that. I don't remember the score. We ended up winning that one. And then my senior year, obviously I had a good senior year. And the question was, would you want to break the Texas State home run record and not win a state championship? Or would you rather, you know, win the state championship and not break the home run record? And I was like, I want the state championship. I'm not going out like that. And I mean, dude, till this day, still one of the best games like ever. Like, such a good game, back and forth. They were leading, you know, Kyle comes up, dude, freaking hero, Dimitri, Godoy, Jacob Silva. I mean, dude, it was just like a whole thing. And then I remember getting up, and I think the tying run was on base when I was up, and I was like, here comes number 26, and here comes the state championship all in one. And I remember getting up to the box, and I'm like, oh, and then they walk me, and I'm like, no way, this is not how the story's playing out in my head. This is not how this is going. And then sure enough, man, something happens. I get to second base, second and third, one out, and Kyle's up. And Kyle has like a bad back or something.
Uh-huh.
And this dude like takes a pitch, and I remember taking my lead, and I was like, man, it's a good baseball game. I talked to the shortstop. I'm like, hey, it's a good baseball game. He goes, oh yeah, this is good for us. And I was like, all right. And then Kyle hits the ball off the end of the bat. And I remember when the ball left his bat, I was like, oh, he didn't hit that hard. And I turned back, and I see that the center fielder had like taken like a route, like a weird route. And I was like, I'm gone. And I just ran and scored from home. One of the craziest dog piles of all time, by the way. JJ has a video, and it's wild. I mean, it was one of the best celebrations I've ever had. Like, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, like, I wanted that so bad. I remember standing on the on-deck circle and JJ on first base, and he was like, go win this one, 21. Go win this one. Because I was coming up, and I was like, bro, I'm hitting this out. I'm hitting this ball out. Like, there's no doubting, like, this dude's going to throw the ball. I'm going to hit it out. We're going to win the state championship, and I'm going to hit number 26. That's it. And I got walked. And so that's why I say we, because, dude, those teams were crazy, bro. Crazy. Those teams were, I mean, by the end of my high school career, I remember when I first stepped in, Coach Castillo was like, by the time y'all leave here, he's like, I want to roll the ball out and y'all go play. Bro, he would sit on his, they called it a donkey or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
A mule. That's what they call it, mule. And he would literally walk a ball out, place it on the mound. The lineups were up, play ball, and we'd play.
When you look back on it, and especially even now, the relationship that you still have with JJ and
Mm-hmm.
Coach Castillo,
Mm-hmm.
how awesome is it to have those two guys as your coaches?
Dude,
As two of your coaches. I assume you probably had another one or a couple more.
I Gossero was one of them. David Castillo was one of them. But those two guys, I mean, Gossero played a big part too. He was an amazing coach, amazing man. But JJ and Coach, I mean, played the biggest role in my career. JJ was probably the third person to tell me, like, he's like, dude, you're going to be a big leaguer. And I'm just like, he's like, yeah, you're going to play in the big leagues. Yep. Dude, he was telling me when I was a sophomore, freshman, he'd come back and pitch, and he'd be like, you're going to be a big leaguer. Yep. You're going to be a big leaguer. And I'm just like, all right. I just had so many people feeding me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to be a big leaguer. You're going to be a big leaguer. Like, what? I'm not doing myself any justice by saying I'm not. Like, no, I was like, yeah, you're right. I am going to be a big leaguer, and then those guys, like, just guided me, dude. Like, JJ just guided me. Coach just guided me. So many lessons along the way, but, like, it was almost like they knew my path, and they were just like, hey, like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, you need to do that. Yeah. And they did, man. I'm super thankful. Like, super, super thankful. They played a big role. And dude, JJ can ask me for anything. He's going to hear this, but he can ask me for anything. I'll do it. Anything. Coach knows. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Those are awesome guys.
Yeah.
JJ and Castillo.
Coach had never been to Yankee Stadium. We got him out there this year, the World Series.
That's right. Yeah. I was keeping up on Facebook.
Yep.
David was posting a lot of updates.
Yep. And I was like,
David's going to come on. I'm going to try to get David and Coach on.
Do you got to get Coach? I'll tell Coach.
I'll definitely get Coach.
Yeah.
But I know David's going to be in town in December.
Coach, you got to do like episodes, bro. That dude is. Look at that. Fox. Babe.
Oh, whoa.
Look at that. I thought you were Bishop Badgers, not foxes.
Yeah, we got a stray fox out there.
They said to be careful of spiders out here. They said every spider is known to man in. Yeah, be careful. We'll edit that out. But dude, you're gonna need you should do like a storybook chapter on like Coach Castillo.
That's not a bad idea.
Dude, we used to get like huddle up, right? He used to say like take a knee, and you take a knee, and if you weren't looking at him, he had this like, dude, he was almost like janitor keys. If you weren't looking at him, bang, right in the chest, bro. hit with a set of keys, bro, like this big. I never got hit, bro. I know a couple guys that did, bro. But he was, I mean, dude's a legend, bro. Like that dude. I owe a lot to that dude. I owe a lot to that man. Like everything. Best coach I've ever had. Best mentor. Like from everything from faith to family to the baseball field. Like he's one of the ones that taught me how to separate the game from like life, like reality. Like I felt every time I stepped on the field at John Paul, I felt like I was stepping into the gates of heaven going to play baseball. And I remember right before the third out was being made, I'd get mad because I'd have to go back to reality, bro. That's what he instilled in me. And like he's like, every time you cross the lines, whatever's happening outside doesn't matter. Go play baseball and go have fun. It's like, all right, man, like you got it. And still to this day, that's how it is, dude. That's just how it is. I don't know why. I mean, maybe because I was young and he was telling me, but dude, that's just what it was.
How much of a role did your high school coaches play in helping you get recruited? What did your recruitment look like to go play in college?
Dude, my recruitment was a little crazy because Coach Castillo played a big part because we all stayed together.
Mm-hmm.
My dad would coach us in high school in the summer. But Coach would be like, we need to go here to play. And he would come watch us, but he couldn't coach us.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't talk to us. He'd sit up somewhere and just hang out, whatever. And then college coaches would go up to him. They knew who he was, and they'd be like, yeah, those are my guys. But we all stuck together. I think that's why we had such a good team, because we played all the time together.
Yeah.
Like in high school, we all stuck together. We didn't go play for this travel ball team. We did it one time, but it was half of our high school team and another half of a team from Austin. And we all stuck together. And he just played a big part in that by getting us out there. But this goes back to the main reason why I host these tournaments down here, bro, is because I don't want us to have to go up there no more. I don't want us to, nothing against that. Nothing against going to Oklahoma or North Texas, California, whatever it is. I want people to come here and recognize the baseball here. And I feel like that's what Coach put in me was I was like, we have to travel to go get seen. We have to travel. Nah, bro, the talent's here. They need to come here. They need to see what they have here, And Coach did that. Like he took us. Like he was like, yeah, we need to go here. We need to raise money. We need to go. And we'd go play. And his son went to Oral Roberts. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how the connection came along. I committed to Oklahoma State.
Okay.
That was my dream school.
When was that? Sophomore year? Junior year?
Sophomore year.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to Oklahoma State. Dream school. This is great. I can't wait. They start calling me. And they're like, hey, we want you to come this day. And then they'd call me 3 days later and they're like, hey, no, you can't come in that day. We have some stuff going on. Come in the next week, when we play football game at home. Call me 3 days later. Hey, no, we're not going to do it the next time, next home game. And so I'm glad that, I was a smart enough kid to be like, this is fishy. This does not, and this is the internet wasn't big,
yeah.
Hey, I'm going, I'm here at Oklahoma State, the football. But I just knew, I was they're bringing in other players. So Oral Roberts was the only school that stuck around that was like, hey, if you ever decommit, we want to be the first ones to know. And I'm like, okay. And bro, they would hit me up and be like, hey, if you decommit, we want to know. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to Oklahoma State. And kind of kept going like that, right? And I'm like, you know what, dude, I got to give these guys from Oral Roberts a chance. So I didn't tell the Oklahoma State coach that I was going up there. We're at the Waco Whataburger right off the highway. We're going to get past Waco. We're at the Whataburger using the restroom or something. And I get a call from the Oklahoma State coach. And he's like, hey, man, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. Driving up to Oklahoma. And he's like, oh, you're coming to Stillwater? And I'm like, no, I'm going to Tulsa. He's like, Tulsa? What's in Tulsa? And I'm like, Oral Roberts. And he's like, you're going to go visit Oral Roberts? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, why don't you just come up to Stillwater, see the school too? And I'm like, no. And he's like, what do you mean, no? You don't want to be a Cowboy? And I'm like, no. And he's like, whoa. Are you what's going on? And I'm like, well, I feel like y'all aren't treating me like the player that I am. So Oral Roberts doesn't know this, but don't tell him. But I'm gonna decommit from y'all, and I'm actually gonna go sign with Oral Roberts tomorrow. And he was like, "What?" And I won't say what he told me on the phone because it was very funny. But he was like, "What are you gonna do on Saturdays?" And then I was like, he's like, "You're not gonna watch football." But he told me something else, and I'll save that for another time. If someone wants to know, like, come up to me and I'll tell you. But he said something, and I was like, "Oh, wow!" And I was like, "Well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna go to Oral Robertson. I'm gonna sign with him." He's like, "You're gonna sign with him?" I was like, "Yep." And Oral Roberts didn't know that I was going up there to sign with him. Like, I was like, "I'm tired of this. The recruiting process was crazy." This was my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, the recruiting process is crazy. Like, I'm not getting enough love. I'm not, like, I had a good sophomore year. I had a good junior year. And so I'm like, I should be getting more love, right? Like, I'm like, I'm just going to go sign with Oral Roberts. They've been committed to me. They say that I'm going to have a chance to play as a freshman. And I'm like, all right, let's go. So I get up to Oral Roberts that weekend. They still don't know that I'm going to sign with them. We're sitting across the table. We saw the campus, everything. I was like, oh man, this is nice. Baseball field's nice. I can see myself here. I was like, all right, like, they're like, okay, well, here's the official offer. And before that, like 2 years before that, we had gone to like workouts up at Oral Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew who we were.
Yeah.
So they had been following us. Like a few guys, like Ray Herrera, Joey Perez, Kyle Munguia. They follow a lot of guys because we had a good team. And so they had already knew like who we were. And I was catching bullpens one time in one of those workouts, and the head coach was like, "Hey, we offered you 50% right now. Would you come?" And I'm like, "I gotta talk to my parents." And like, young kid, whatever, didn't know what I was doing. So I'm sitting across the table, and the guy goes, "Here you go. Here's the the official offer. Here's the scholarship." I turn it over, and I'm like, "Where do I sign?" And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And they're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And they were like, "Yeah, like." He's good, like, and they're like, what happened with local? I was like, I decommitted from them like 5 hours ago. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I'm coming to Oral Roberts. And they were like, oh my God, and did that. And I mean, they took care of me, man. They were there for a lot of things in my life. And I owe nothing but, a lot to them too. Dude, I've had a lot of good people in my corner, man. Everything has kind of like fallen into place. It's been a blessing for sure.
What was the scholarship offer they gave you? And at that point, did it matter?
Yeah. I mean, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at that point, I didn't see it like that, but it's a business I needed to get. I didn't come up wealthy like at all. Like, I remember there were days when I would come. I had just told my mom this maybe like a couple months ago, but I remember there were days where I'd be closing my eyes and there was like a McDonald's on the base, and I could hear her going through her coin purse, like scrambling for change to pay for breakfast. And I was like, man, this like hurts me so bad. I was a young kid. I was in elementary school, and that always has stuck with me. And obviously I knew like our situation. I wasn't just going to be like, oh, yep, I'm good. Like, no, we had to have like a decent offer to where it was good. And I knew they were going to offer something decent. Like,
yeah,
they knew what kind of player I was. They understood. That's the reason why I showed up there. And yeah, man, I was like, it was 65% as a freshman.
Oh yeah.
And then it just kept going up.
Dude,
sophomore and junior year, it just went up. So yeah,
easy.
I don't believe anybody that says they get a full scholarship. You heard it here first.
That's awesome.
Man, I don't know about nowadays though, NILs and stuff, but
NILs changed the game.
Yeah.
Well, they changed the rule now. I don't know when it goes into effect. At least I saw. Don't take this as the law of the land, but it could have just been a headline. But I saw they're changing the rule from the amount of scholarships you can offer for baseball. They're increasing it.
Good.
I don't know the exact number,
They
but
need to.
I know it's going to be more than 11.7.
They need to, and they need to take care of the coaches. I mean, baseball, beautiful sport, man. Beautiful sport. So I think that'll be great if they do that. But yeah, I mean, 65, and then it just went up from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good. I enjoyed my time there, and when I got on campus, they were like, "Where do you see yourself in 3 years?" And I said, "Not here." I said, "In pro ball." And they were like, "All right, you want to do that? We're going to treat you like that." And they did. They did every single day. It was a professional, like, structure of practice and scheduling. It was professional. When I showed up, when I got drafted and went into the minor leagues, I was ready. I was ready from day one.
You were drafted in 2014?
14.
Before you were drafted, that's the end of your junior year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that you were going to be drafted?
I knew I was. Didn't know where.
But you just knew
I knew.
it was
I
a
knew.
very
The year
high
before-
percentage.
The year before, the Rangers had drafted Alex Gonzalez, first round pitcher. And when they would come watch him, they would also get to see me.
Okay.
So kind of had a little connection there too.
Yeah.
Bobby Crook, will always be thankful for that guy. He was a scout for the Rangers. And, I mean, he threw my name out there, and it was like, they were like, yeah, we need to go get this guy. They called me in the 4th, and they were like, hey, we're going to go with somebody else. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, are you still going to be around? I'm like, nope. And then they were like, calling the 5th, and they're like, hey, we're going to go with somebody else. Calling in the 6th. I'm like, nope, I'm going to be gone. And they called me the 6th, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. It's like, let's go. No hardball there. Just wanted to get my foot in the door.
What did you sign for, the signing bonus?
Oof. You can look on the internet. No, it's 200K.
What'd you do with that? That's probably
Okay, that's
At
a
the
good
time,
that's a
you're-
good question. I didn't do nothing with it.
really.
I was living with my mom at home in Bolt, and I would drive to Corpus to work out, and then I would stay at my buddy Rick's house sometimes.
So you just
My first
saved
off
it.
season, I'd stay in Bolt, and then my second off season, I stayed with Rick. Yeah, my buddy Rick let me stay with him at his
Dude,
house.
That might be the first time I've ever heard someone say they saved it.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
I'm sure- I
well,
mean,
I invested it. I'll say I invested
Okay,
it
well,
because I ended up
same thing, kind of.
I ended up getting it and building a batting cage in my backyard in Bolt.
There you go.
So I invested it.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah, I invested it. A pitching machine, batting cage, lights, turf, bang, all of it, all in my backyard.
That's awesome.
And I was like, let's get to the big leagues.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Is it all still there?
yeah, it's still there, still up. As far as I know, it's still there. But I'm not there, but it's there.
When you get the call that you're drafted,
Hmm.
how quickly are you off to rookie ball or your first action?
2 days, I want to say.
Okay.
They flew me up to Arlington, signed my contract, and then probably 2 or 3 days after that, I was in Spokane, Washington, getting
Really?
ready for a short season.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, so you had to stay active.
Yeah.
You had to stay active, moving around, hitting, fielding, throwing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
So then
Yeah.
from there you spend 4.5, 5 years in the minors because you debut in 18.
4.5, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. I've heard the story, but I
Mhm.
want you to tell it again. Of when you find out you get the
Oh,
call
dude.
and you
yeah.
have the go bag
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I remember I would always tell my wife, I'd be like, hey, if I ever come back and grab this bag, like, we're going to the big leagues, right? So I remember struggling AA, like, man, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Like, it's getting to that point in my career where I'm getting a little older. It's like, damn, dude, like, I just can't break through, like I want to, like I know I can, all this hard work. I'm just not getting there. So I'm in the car, I'm in my truck I'm on the phone with one of the mental skills guys for the Rangers, who I still like, another person that has played a big factor in my career, Josiah Igano, who actually comes down to the Winter World Series or the tournaments, who's actually going to be, this is breaking news. He's going to be speaking.
Oh, okay. So that's who it is.
He's going to be speaking.
Okay.
Yes.
I knew about the speaking.
Yeah.
I didn't know that this.
He's going to be speaking.
Okay.
He's going to be putting it on some people.
Okay. Is that a public thing? Is that a?
It's going to be for the tournament.
Okay.
Kids in the tournament.
Okay.
That's what we want to do. Might be bigger. We'll see. Depending on if the Selena Auditorium lets us. We'll see. Please. Please. We promise it's good for the kids. But I was on the phone with him, and he's just like, man, like, you need to. He's like, first off, I want you to write down. I still carry these 3 pieces of paper with me. He's like, I need you to write down the things that you can control. And, write down all those things. He's like, I want you to write down things you can't control. And he's like, I want you to write down the things that you can get better at. I'm like, okay, just write them all down. He goes, you see the things that you can't control? He goes, draw a big X through them. Yeah, I'm like, okay, draw a big X. He goes, see the things that you can't control? He's like, draw a big circle. Things that you want to get better at, draw a big circle. And I'm like, okay. 2 seconds later, I get a phone call. Like, hey, where you at? And I'm like, oh, I'm in the parking lot. They're like, come down here. And I'm like, I'll be there in a little bit. Like, I'm at the field. I'll be down there in a little bit.
This is the Rangers.
This is in Frisco.
Okay.
In AA. one of the guys was calling me. They're like, dude, come down here. Like, they need to talk to you. The manager needs to talk to you. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, not thinking anything of it. My head was nowhere near a big league call up. I'll tell you that. Nowhere near. And I finally get off the phone with them. I walk down, and they have a phone on the table. And the guy's like, hey, we're going to call you up to the big leagues. I'm like, oh, damn. Like, for real? I'm telling you, I had no idea. Like, no business. Like, if you go look at my numbers at the time, I was struggling. And I was like, okay. And they're like, yeah, but you're only coming up for a day. One day. And you're going back to AA. And I'm like, okay, where do I need to go? What do I need to do? And they're like, you're going to be in the AA lineup tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, where do I need to go? And they're like, we want you to understand that you're going to be in the AA lineup tomorrow. You're just a body today. And I'm like, okay, where do I go? What do you want me to do? They're like, we need you in Arlington, like, ASAP. And I'm like, okay. So say the congratulations, do all that stuff, right? I end up going home and grabbing the bag, and they start freaking out. My mom, her mom, and Marky, they start freaking out. And I was like getting tickets and stuff. I call Coach. I call JJ. I call JJ. And he's like, oh, man, congratulations. Like his voice, like he's like, oh, man, that's awesome, dude. So pumped for you. Like, I'm like, thanks, Jay. It was awesome. And I remember I almost ran out of gas. On the way over there. I had to pull over, like, find a gas station. I get there, and then kind of like, I get there like at 6, dude. Traffic was terrible. And then I'm sitting there in the game. I'm watching the game, and there's a play at the plate in like the second or third inning. And I see the ball hit, and I'm like, oh, man, it's the ball in the gap. And I see the runner on first, rounding third, coming home, play at the plate. Like, catcher rolls his ankle, and before they could even look at me, I was like in the dugout getting ready. And the guy stays in the game, and then a couple innings later, they're like, hey, Trevi, like, you're in. I'm like, all right.
Who was catching?
His name was Carlos Perez.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason why I got called up was because there was a suspension and I think an injury, something like that. There was a fight. Someone got suspended. They needed a body for the day.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting in that day. And then that night, I'm kind of sitting there and I'm like, are they sending me back? Because they told me I was going to be in AA. Like, what's going on? Then nobody told me nothing. So I went home. I get a text at like 4 a.m. They're like, hey, it looks like you just bought yourself another day in the big leagues. We'll see you tomorrow. Like, sick. All right. And then they told me I was starting. I was like, okay, cool. Let's do it. They told me I was starting like 3 hours before the game. I was like, oh, all right, cool. Let's go. Ended up getting my first hit that day. And then obviously the next day, Father's Day, is just like a big day. Huge, wasn't playing. Other guy was hurt. The guy that was hurt came back, or the guy that was suspended or hurt came back. He was playing. He ended up getting hit in the bottom of the foot, and it was a blowout game. And he came out of the game, and I was like, they were like, hey, you're going in. I was like, okay, cool. Went in, and then we ended up coming back, and then, I come up in a situation that I've always dreamed of, and I deliver.
Even better on Father's Day.
On Father's Day, just had my son like 5 days before that. And obviously everybody knows about, me and my dad. And it was just a big, special moment for me and my family. I remember going to the tunnel and finding my mom and just crying to my mom. Just crying. Like, not saying nothing, just crying. And she knew, like, I didn't even have to say nothing. She knew what I was crying for.
Yeah.
And she was doing all the talking. And I didn't know, like, she, like, read my mind. She was just saying everything I needed to hear at the time. Awesome mom, bro. Parents, bro.
That's an awesome
Parents,
story.
bro. Parents.
When you look back at all that, I mean, can you just not help but smile?
Yeah, bro. I mean, if you don't believe in angels, like, come talk to me. If you don't believe in guardian angels, like, I'll tell you there are a few for me, for sure. There's a lot of people looking out for me. Coach always said, like, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And just have a lot of help, with your faith and guardian angels and, all that stuff. Like, that stuff is real. It's real.
Okay, so after that Father's Day walk-off,
I get sent down.
how quickly?
Very quick.
Right after?
No, I was right after, but I ended up traveling with the team in Kansas City.
Okay.
And then the next day I got sent down. And then I took, they were like, hey, take your 3 days and you're gonna go to the team. You're gonna meet the team in Corpus." And I was like, "Oh, sweet, sick! Like this is great." I come back to play my first game back in the minor leagues from the big leagues in Corpus. First at bat, I think I ground out. Second at bat, shoulder tears out of place, left shoulder. Try to play. They're like, "Hey, no, this is not good. You know, you need surgery." Dang it! So there goes the end of my year. And then the next year, rehab. Go to Nashville. Yeah, go to Nashville. Play there for a little bit, and then back up to the big leagues.
And then you stuck from there?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Did a couple rehab stints. You know, injuries. It's just tough, bro. This game is crazy. How much people endure in this game, and, you know, injuries are going to happen.
Yeah.
And you just kind of roll with them, and you gotta learn how to roll with those things, because those things can eat you. Like, those things will eat you, consume you, and then they'll spit you out and be like, yeah, whatever, next.
Especially the time-consuming ones, those longer length.
Yep.
I know you had that little outlet in your manifestos from the mask.
Yep.
Whenever you had your wrist surgery.
Yeah, I mean, wrist surgery is definitely one of the toughest ones. I had shoulder surgery. I've had quads, hamstrings, calves, feet. You know, not surgeries, but
just injuries.
And dude, it's just like finding a way to dig deep inside of yourself and not give up. Just keep going, man, and like understanding that it's a process and every day is its own day in those situations, and handling it like that. And I that's why I created that account, to be honest. Like, I just I needed something to hold myself accountable, for one. And for two, I wanted people to know that, you know, if they ever go through the same thing, like, this is something to look back on.
Yeah. Kind of a guide.
Dude, it lined up perfectly for me, because I was like, man, do I want to do this? By the end of it, I was like, oh, I'm done with this thing. Like, I'm tired of this content stuff. Like, this stinks. But as I was doing it, I really enjoyed it. And I thought that people would get a good insight on it. And like, still to this day, not many people know about it.
Yeah.
Till this day, like, people are like, what account is that? And I'm like, yeah, Manifestos from the Mask. Like, just go check it out. Directions are at the top. Scroll all the way to the bottom.
Yep.
And go
Instagram.
from there. Yeah, it's a good little account. I mean, if there's a kid out there that has an injury, or even a parent or somebody, like, you can kind of like go from there.
Yeah.
I think it helps. You know, there's a lot of, you understand things that I take you from day one of my rehab to me playing in a spring training game.
Yeah.
So I haven't updated anything on there yet. I've been kind of just like,
Dude, you've been busy.
Been busy, but I'll give y'all some good stuff here pretty soon.
We've covered a lot, man.
A lot of stuff. This is good.
You have any questions for me?
How do you like doing the podcast?
Dude, the podcast is awesome. This is probably this is not my job.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the nature of what I do for work.
Yeah.
That's why I have all the equipment.
Yeah.
But I'm a baseball guy through and through. I grew up playing. I was good, but I wasn't like a stud or anything. I was probably the best on my team until I got to like travel ball. Yeah. Then I was a role player. Like, I know my role. You
I like
know,
that. I like
baseball
that.
and basketball. Like, I equate it to basketball. Like, I wasn't the best scorer. I was the best passer, and I wanted to rack up the assists.
Yeah.
I was like, if you're open, I'll get you the ball.
Yeah.
I'll go out there. I'll play my role. I'll take a charge. Whatever you need. Like,
I love that.
It's like, yeah, sure, of course. Like, I want to play. I want to make an impact. I look at baseball the same way.
Yeah.
I was pretty small, pretty thin. I hated the weight room, which in hindsight, I wish that I did not do that.
Yeah.
I would have lifted some more weight. I ran. I was in cross country. I got recruited to run in college.
Oh, dude, cross country. When I was at Haas, one of the deals that they cut us was, if you run cross country, you don't need to do conditioning at football. I should have just done football conditioning.
See, and like, I never played football, so I was never in the weight room either there.
Oh, dude.
I was at the point, bro, where I was like, excuse me. I would ask, like, coach, instead of lifting, can I just go run like 5 miles during the period? Like, can I do that? Because I can do that in a half hour. Like,
yeah.
So I would just run, dude. Like, I would just run around.
That's crazy.
In Skidmore.
Yeah.
That's where I went to high school.
That's crazy.
when we were all the same size growing up,
Yeah.
right before kids started outpacing each other or whatever, I was a first baseman and a pitcher, and I pitched in high school, but I stopped growing in 8th grade, and I'm 5'7" right now on a good day.
On a good day?
On a good day.
Depending on the shoes?
My driver's license might say 5'6", but don't look at that.
Yeah, that's lying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm left-handed, and so I pitched. I had a pretty solid curveball. I liked playing first base, right? I'd play outfield whenever I was needed, so I enjoyed that. I was fast, and I batted right-handed because when you're a kid, everyone is right-handed.
Yep.
So like you do what everyone does.
Yeah, everyone's doing right-handed.
So I just batted right-handed, and then I realized my freshman year of high school, like I have a lot, like all my power is right here. So
oh my God! So you switched left-handed?
So I taught myself to bat left-handed, bro. I would like, look, I'm not saying I deserve anything because there are guys that go out and get it, but I put a lot of work in.
Yeah.
And I really did. I really worked really hard, and you could probably ask my parents because they saw how late I'd be outside.
Yeah.
Dude, I would like just hack after hack to get, like the natural feel when you take a swing.
Yeah.
I worked so hard to get the natural feel on the left side where I could feel the power.
Uh-huh.
And dude, when I bat left-handed, you tell me where you want me to hit the ball, and I'll put it there.
I love it. I love it.
I can, when I watch Blake Mitchell a lot in high school,
Stud.
Even now, he has the best pitch recognition I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I feel like he can also control basically where he wants to hit because he's left-handed, and I feel like 90% of the hits are to left field.
Yeah.
Because he recognizes fastball, I have quick hands, and it's just a shot to left field.
Yeah.
So, like me, my favorite was hitting left-handed opposite field.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to go out there and hit home runs. I was just going to get on base. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
I could steal base, whatever. So in high school, I played center field primarily because I was fast. But dude, my high school team sucked. Like in my 4 years, we had 12 district games each year. We were 1-47.
Oh, my God.
We were bad, dude. Like think about, like if you had a nightmare of like losing, like that was reality for me.
Who'd you win your first game against?
Aransas Pass.
Really?
Uh-huh. It wasn't until my senior year.
It's a good way to go out.
That was district. Like we would win. Like
did you like? Well, okay. So when you played Aransas Pass, when y'all won, was it like a big like y'all were like, yeah, we?
No.
It was like
because like I was playing baseball with guys that like they're like, yeah, I think I'll play baseball this year. They had like never played baseball before.
Yeah.
And they're like juniors in high school, and they're like, yeah, I think I'll play baseball. We're a little bigger than Ben Bolt.
Yeah.
So like, there's not a lot to choose from, and Skidmore is a very academic school at the time, so like we were really smart.
Yeah.
But athletic wise, we were not really good at anything. If you want to be good at something, you had to do an individual sport. That's why I ran. That's why I played golf. That's why I played tennis.
Yeah,
because if we were gonna fail, it was my fault.
It was my fault. Yeah.
And I'm the only one I could blame.
Yep.
So that's why I never played doubles tennis because just not good.
Didn't want to be like, hey, dude, you got to get to that
you
ball.
need to get it together, bro. Like,
yeah.
if I didn't get to the ball, it's because I didn't get to the ball, and it's my fault.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a lot of my mindset, at the time. So it was very frustrating being on a very bad team.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time my senior year, my crush went to the game in Mathis. It was my hometown, and everyone I grew up with that wanted me to move back to Mathis was on the team, right? So I'm playing against my friends. The first time we had played them, we lost 3-2 on a walk-off, and I pitched like 6 innings. I had to come out, and then we lost. And my senior year, that was my senior year. I was playing shortstop. I'm left-handed because no one else could field a ground ball.
Dude, what?
So we lost 3-2, right? That was after I pitched 6 innings, right? So the next time we have to play what would have been our home game against Mathis at Mathis because our field had like rained or something. And so, bro, we lost 20-0 in 4 innings. And after the game, I just sat in the dugout and I cried because I was like, this is so bad. And this is how my high school career is going to be remembered. And all my travel team friends are playing at GP, Carroll.
They're all winning.
They're all winning, and I'm like, this sucks. Like I get it. Like I get it.
John Paul,
bro. I get it, mom and dad. Like you did what was best for your kids. You did what was best for me, and I appreciate it. I love you for that. ultimately I loved high school. It was great.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't change it. But the competitor in me and like me wanting to play baseball in college, absolute worst possible situation you could ever be in. So just not good.
We could share our victories.
Yeah,
We could share our
exactly.
victories.
So
You're winning now, though. You're winning now.
that's a really long way of saying I do this podcast because I love baseball. There was nothing like this going on, and South Texas has so many pro guys, so
Yep.
many, hundreds of college guys, coaches. Kenny Signs.
Yeah, man.
We were chopping it up for 20 minutes before we started this.
Yeah.
So it's just year in, year out, state champions, state tournament. But yeah, we just like, it's loaded.
Yeah.
It's a loaded area. You got MLB alum, you got guys in the minor leagues, you got college guys, like I was saying.
Yep.
There's no shortage of conversations to be had, things to learn, wisdom to share.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a matter of someone to publish it and put it out there. So that's what this is. And this is actually a branch of South Texas high school baseball brand.
I love it.
That Javier started. Javier Guzman. He lives in Alice.
Okay.
He's the one that started the group on Facebook and grew it to almost 11,000 people right now.
That's crazy.
But I managed the Instagram, and it was probably 2 years ago that I reached out to him and basically asked to be like his partner.
Yeah.
And offer like the digital side of things.
Yeah.
So
I think this is the best thing that's happened.
it's all about promoting
and
the
all
game.
the episodes are like really good.
And
And everybody has their own story, bro. Everybody has
Exactly.
their own story, and everybody, like, whether you know it or not, like, guys look up to each other, and guys, like, honor guys. Like, they're like, man, yeah, that guy was good. Like,
Exactly.
I love that. And I love that. And every guy that comes on here, I'm like, man, I remember that dude. Like, that dude was a stud.
Exactly.
Like, that dude played, and especially like, there's something about high school baseball in South Texas.
Yeah.
There's something about it. I don't know how to explain it, but like the feeling that other people get when they play football on Friday nights, that's how we get when we play baseball every day here.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I think it's, dude, I enjoy the podcast. I enjoy everything about it. I see all the guys that come on here, and I want to say that, like, if those guys need anything, any of them ever need anything, like, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, even though we might not be the closest or we might be close. Just reach out to me if you have any questions. Like, I can offer my best, guidance. And if it is what you're looking for, then it is. If it's not, at least you have someone telling you something. But I truly want to put South Texas on the map and make it a place where people are like, man, that baseball down there is really rich and it's really good. I try my best, dude. I try my best just to kind of put that out there.
You're like an ambassador.
Trying, bro.
At the national level for us.
I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to do. We need more guys in the big leagues. We need more guys to come back and talk to the kids here. I mean, small towns, man. And all of a sudden you're playing. I mean, I grew up in Bolt, Texas. I just played in the World Series.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Your
dude?
office is Yankee Stadium.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, I mean, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of sacrifices. Can't go to a lot of quinceañeras. But you'll have your fun, man, and you pick and choose when you have your fun. And I've always been saying this, that if a day comes where it's like, hey, like, you're not, like, if that day was right now, if someone called me and they're like, hey, like, you're not gonna play baseball anymore, I can look at my kids and say, are you proud of me? I could look at my wife and say, are you proud of me? I could look at my mom and say, you're proud of me, and I'm good. I can go look at my office. I can go look at all the trophies. I can do all that. That's stuff that I accomplished, man. And just it's something. It's an extension of all the people that cared about me, all the people that cheered me on and all that. Like, and I know, I'm just, like you said, I'm trying to be an ambassador for it. Like, I want to be something that people strive for. Like, I really do. But I also want to offer the best advice, and I have a lot of, years in this game, and now I'm getting older and seeing the young group come up. Like, dude, I'm here to offer the best advice that I can.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, anything. If you want to be a big league player, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you that, I'll tell you everything I did.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, there's no secrets. I have no secrets to success. Like, I don't have no magic dust I'm going to pour over your kid or anything like that. Nope. Just roll your sleeves up, get to work. get to work, find a way to play baseball, find a way to get better, and stand out.
Yep.
That's it.
You think you guys are done having kids?
I don't know. We'll see.
It's fair.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
You don't have to go too in depth.
I don't know yet because, I mean, I will share this, that we miss South Texas.
You think you'll ever live here again?
We'll see. And let's just say that number 21 at JP2 might have to come out of retirement one day. We'll see.
Oh.
We'll see.
No promises.
Maybe. We'll see.
You got anything for me?
Who's been your favorite one so far?
Favorite episode?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Mike McClendon. Like, I said that a little too quickly. Don't be offended, everyone else. But I've enjoyed every conversation I've gotten to have.
Yeah.
But do you know Mike McClendon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Dude, such a chill guy.
Yep.
With the craziest stories.
Yeah.
Of splitting time between Corpus and Florida growing up, playing JUCO,
Mm-hmm.
getting better, getting
Mhm.
drafted, pitching for Milwaukee. I think he had like a combined 3 years in the league or something like
Yeah.
that, something around there. And then he just calls his agent or whoever and is like, hey, is there any opportunity to go play overseas? And I think within 2 days he's on a flight to Australia or
Yeah,
something.
bro, it's crazy.
And then he goes and plays in Thailand.
There's baseball everywhere, dude. That's
Yeah.
what people don't understand. People are always like, oh, I want to go here. I want to do this. But there's baseball everywhere.
Yep.
And if you can play, they'll see you. If you can play, they'll see you.
Yeah.
And I believe a lot of people down here can play.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we just need to get seen. Baseball's so crazy, bro. It's so hard to be a Major League Baseball player, and it's even harder to stay there. That's what people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people don't understand. It's crazy because I felt like when I got to the big leagues, I was like, yay, all this stuff. And then immediately it was like, oh wait, I have to stay here. I got to find a way to stay here. And it's crazy how the league will go on and be like, okay, well, find your weaknesses, expose your weaknesses. You got to get better at your weaknesses. And then it happens all over again. Once you get better at your weaknesses, they find another weakness. You got to get better at it. This. It's always like that. You got to find a way to stay.
And, combine that with young talent,
Always coming up.
healthy,
Always
young
coming up.
bodies every year
Always coming up.
at any point.
Yep. I think that's a big separator is your mind, man. Is your mind. Can you control your mind when things aren't going so well? And how do you control your mind when things are going good? It's just how do you handle the punches and how do you throw the punches?
Yeah. How much of your life, having been in the big leagues, and I can only imagine how busy you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're being pulled in
I'll show you my phone.
all these. How many unread messages do you have right
From now, what time did we start?
now? We started at 7:40. That's not bad.
17.
Do you keep it at 0? Or you try
I
to?
try to. People that I really try to reach back out to everybody, but dude, sometimes I just.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay, it can get up there.
Well, tomorrow when we're at the golf, I'll let you put my phone in your pocket.
And just
we'll-
feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But bro, I still have the same number from high school. My wife gets on me all the time about it. So if you have my number in high school, you definitely probably have my number.
I've had the same number forever.
But I don't know
Since
if
I
I'll
got
answer the
my
call if I
number.
don't have your number.
Yeah.
I'll just be like,
Yeah,
"Ugh."
exactly. Who answers calls anymore unless it's
I need a
Your
text
contact.
message before. I need a text message before. I need a warning. I need a warning before you're gonna call.
what I was going to say before that. How much of your life is, I guess, in a sense, managed by you and managed through your agent?
No, I mean I do most of it.
Okay.
I have one of the best agents in the game, Brian Grieper. He's a beast. There are people that will reach out for signing opportunities. We have a number that we don't leave the couch for. And I mean, that's the number that we set and that's what we do. He's on top of that and he's not afraid to say, No, he's not afraid to be like, we can't do that. That's not the number we're looking for. He's not afraid to do any of that. So that kind of stuff, yes, that he goes through that.
Mm-hmm.
Me, on the other hand, like the tournament, that's me. That's me and Laren.
Yeah.
All the like, if I go like hang out with some kids, I'll do that. Like, I just there's things that people will be like, oh, what's your price? I'm like, I'll go out there like for the kids.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go out there for the kids for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
But if there's like, it's some kind of like business thing, it's my agent.
Gotcha.
It's my agent.
What's your favorite pizza place in New York?
Ooh, bro. Prince Street Pizza.
Is it in Manhattan?
It's in Soho.
Okay.
It's really good.
I have to check it out next time.
It's really good.
I don't know when I'll be back, but I like New York.
You could probably order it, but I suggest you go there.
Okay.
I would go there.
Is it easy to get in and get out?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be they'll make your pizza, but yeah, you'll be all right.
I don't think I could live in New York. I would love.
I didn't think that either. I didn't think
visit.
that either. And then my wife was like, "Hey, we're living in the city this year," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah,
whatever.
yes, because you guys lived in White Plains, right?
Yep.
Which is a good little commute.
Mm-hmm. It was like 25 minutes.
And then in comparison, how, like time-wise from the stadium, did you guys live?
10, 12 minutes.
Okay, so pretty close.
Yeah. We lived on the Upper East Side.
Okay.
I
wasn't going to ask, but
we can edit that out because I might be back there. Well, we don't know. But yeah, I lived in, close.
Okay.
Close to the stadium.
On an off day and your family's in town,
oh, dude.
what are you guys doing?
Sometimes just go to the Empire State Building and just go all the way up and or we'll go to the Brooklyn Bridge.
Just look.
Dude, my son is adventurous. He just wants to go.
That's awesome.
One time we rented a boat.
Really?
Yeah, rented a boat and took it around the bay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the Hudson River. And
I did one of the tours last June.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, I don't know if you remember. And so when I was there, I didn't reach out because like the last thing I ever want anyone playing at the pro level to do is think that I'm like using you to get to a game. Okay. So
you can always ask me though.
I know now.
There you go.
I appreciate that. So we went on a family vacation. I went with my now wife's family.
Mm-hmm.
We were in New York City for like 3 days, and we were going to like Montauk on Long Island and some other places in New England area. So we went to New York City first. Well, everyone wanted to take a nap on like a Sunday or whatever it was. And I was like, the Yankees are playing. If y'all are going to be asleep, like, I want to go to the game. Like,
should have told me.
Okay. So I texted you that I was going to potentially be at the game, but I wasn't going to ask you for anything because like you're busy. You got stuff to do. I was like, I'm not going to bother him. I'm just going to go to the game. And if I can take a picture with him, I'll take a picture with him. So by the time we figure out like where all to go and everything, it's the 6th inning. We bought the tickets on SeatGeek. I know this is a very late decision to go to the game. We bought tickets on SeatGeek, spent like $100. The tickets were never delivered through the seller. So we have no tickets. And we're literally at the gate of Yankee Stadium.
Oh my gosh.
And the ticket counter's right there. The people in front of us, this is the 6th inning. They stopped selling and letting people in the 6th inning. The people in front of us were the last people to get in and buy a ticket. So we trekked over. We were staying on the Lower East Side.
Uh-huh.
We trekked from the Lower East Side to Yankee Stadium to not get in the game.
Oh my gosh, bro.
And
How bad was that traffic?
Well, we took subway.
Oh, that's good.
So
You're
like, we had to navigate the subway.
30 minutes?
I mean, I live in Corpus.
35?
At least.
Take the 4 train.
Whatever that is.
161st Street.
I was so disappointed. And we were leaving the next day, so like there was no coming to the game the next day.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang it. So we saw Yankee Stadium and like everything around it, the subway and everything, but we just didn't get to go to the game. I didn't even care if I like didn't get to get a seat. I just wanted to like be there and walk around, try to get a picture with you.
Special place, like, bro. It's different.
I can imagine. I'm a Red Sox fan, bro. You got me like almost a Yankees fan.
Ghosts are real, bro. There's ghosts there. There's ghosts there. For sure. Got to come back.
I'll come back. I'll come back for sure. Well, sweet, man. Dude, this was great.
I appreciate it.
This is awesome.
Thank you for.
Glad you finally came on.
I know,
glad
dude,
you're able to make it.
I'm excited.
I know it was kind of like last minute, kind of hard to schedule out exactly, but we've got the golf tournament tomorrow, so it kind of worked out really well last minute. I was talking to Javier earlier today, and I told him we have a lot of guys that want to come on. It's just so hard to schedule.
Dude, it's very hard.
So,
dude, there are a lot of guys that want to come on. I know a lot of people that would love to do this. I think it's good. I think it's good for the kids. I think it's good for the parents to see this. Guys' stories. Everybody has a different story, dude.
For sure.
Everybody has a different journey, and I respect everybody's. And like, whether you grinded it out, made it, or you didn't, like, you still have your journey, man.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever we have you on again, however far away that is, we'll have Javier here. So
I'm in.
I want you to look at that camera and tell Javier that
Javier,
you'll see him soon.
I'll see you soon. We will see you soon.
Yeah, this was very last minute, so
this would have definitely been hard.
Yeah, it would have been very hard.
Yeah.
Dude.
Appreciate
all right, 3 weeks
bro.
out, Winter World Series, golf tournament tomorrow. Anything else you want us to know?
Oh, dude, just
any other hints you want to drop for the World Series? Maybe a little something.
Nope, can't.
You tell me off camera.
Can't. Yes.
Okay.
Can't.
All right, I can do. I can do it.
I'll show you.
Okay.
On camera.
Okay.
But you won't get this.
Hey, by the way, Judge MVP announced earlier.
That ain't a surprise. It's a good hint, right?
It's a really good hint.
We'll see what we got.
It's a really good hint.
We'll see what we got.
It's a really good hint. All right.
I'm glad you saw that.
I'm glad I saw that
now
too.
You can start spreading rumors.
I'll spread rumors. Okay. All right, I think that's everything.
That better not be Kale's jacket.
This is Kale's jacket.
Bro, I've been begging for a different color.
You want a black one?
I would love a black one.
I'll bring you a black one tomorrow.
I need a black one. I'll golf in it.
It's an XL. What is that?
Yeah, don't they run?
They run kind of
small, right?
I think they run small.
Small?
Because this is a
Yeah, because I had an
medium.
XL. I had an XL. The gray one I have is an XL.
Okay. When we got the deal to have him sponsor,
so comfortable.
I told him to send me some and I'll wear it on camera and some hats. My hat is in the car, but because I just got a haircut, I want to show my haircut off.
There you go.
He sent me a few of them, and he sent me an XL in this, so I'll bring it tomorrow. You can have it.
I need it. I need it because I wear out that gray one.
And he just dropped the Texas and the Shoot for the Stars.
I saw that.
The Texas one looks nice.
I like the Shoot for the Stars too. I think that's cool. I think kids are gonna like that too.
They're both pretty cool. I'll give you guys a hint who we're gonna have on sometime in December. Played in the 2011 World Series.
Really?
With the Texas Rangers.
Uh-huh. I know who it is. You gotta tell me.
Come on.
I know who he
is.
Say it.
I
can say the name. Mike Adams.
Mike Adams. I've been
guy,
texting
dude.
Mike back and forth.
Great dude.
Great guy. Just from our few interactions. He just had knee surgery, so he's trying to
he's probably mad.
take it easy.
Good golfer.
I've seen he plays.
Really good golfer.
So
great pitcher. Unbelievable human. Unbelievable.
I believe it. I've yet to meet him, but whenever we have him on, it's gonna be great. So stay tuned for that. But we have a lot in store for you guys, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So
yep,
dude, thanks again for coming on. We appreciate it.
You.
It's almost 10 o'clock.
Awesome. Yeah, I got to be up pretty early for that golf tournament.
We got to be up pretty early.
That's right, baby. Let's go. Yes, let's go, Marcus. That's right.
Well, dude, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. We're glad we got to make this happen.
Yeah,
and
appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.